New questions being raised about security procedures for airline flight crews now that investigators searching for the missing Malaysian jet are focusing on the pilots as well as a flight engineer on board. Jonathan Gillam is a former special agent on the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force and a former Navy SEAL and Federal Air Marshal. Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan.
Good to be here.
Well, you're beyond qualified to comment on this. Based on what you know about this missing plane, what do you think happened?
Well, first, I think we need to find out why somebody's wanting to take the fun out of eating chocolate on the you just talked about there. But
that's true.
With this plane, let me tell you something that's really bothered me about all these events that we see with the pilots happening over and over again. I know numerous pilots. They're all as professional as you could possibly want, and they work in a team environment every day. But I'm really starting to question how some of the screenings go on, and are these people looked at regularly, because they're flying so much in such a high demand, a high pressure life, that they should be screened psychologically from time to time and looked at. And I think a lot of these things can come out, but unfortunately like this investigation, these types of things normally just happen way too late.
Well, Jonathan, is this a game changer at this point? Do you think that we're going to start readdressing the way that we're screening flight crews today?
Well, I would hope so, and I think there are so many lessons that could come out of this tragedy, whether it's terrorism or it was some kind of strange mystical malfunction in the plane. But we need to start looking at how we, go back and screen these people if they have psychological problems. If this guy has a connection, it could be nothing, but he has a connection to somebody in Malaysia that's having some issues. It's a political thing going on. Why isn't that known? Why isn't that known before he even gets on there? I think these are really serious issues.
Well, Jonathan, was someone with your experience level, were you shocked by this? Is this something that you thought could one day happen, or have you been totally taken back by this?
Well, having been a SEAL before I was an FBI agent, I'm really an expert in targeting. And so I try never to be surprised about these things, because this is unconventional warfare, and I've said this before. What they do is, terrorism is unconventional warfare, and what we do in unconventional warfare is we look for the gaps and the vulnerabilities in the systems, and then we work around that. Whether you're a SEAL or a terrorist, that's what unconventional warfare is about, is getting the biggest bang for your buck. And if this is actually terrorism, this is an evolution in their tactics, and they found another hole.
Will we find the plane?
That's a good question. I had some friends talking on Facebook, and of course, inevitably the question comes up, are they really trying, were they really doing everything they can? Another friend came on there and said, the Titanic went down in 1912 and they didn't find it until 1985.
Jonathan, one of the biggest things is when we talk about the fact that this investigation is focused on the pilots now. Obviously, our security measures are much different here in the United States than other countries. It's also been thrown about that possibly that this was an air carrier that had less screening measures for their flight crew. Is that something that you've kept in the back of your mind?
Absolutely, and let's just look at this. Again, I look at things in a bit of an unconventional way, but if you still have an airline that's allowing smoking on a plane, where you're literally allowing passengers to light a flame on an aircraft that is carrying, it's basically a bomb waiting to be lit. Why, if they're still in that day and age, I can't expect them to be up to par in their screening.
Jonathan, we're almost out of time, but as an air marshal, did you see things that, I know you can't comment fully on some of the specific things, but did you see things that led you to believe that a situation like this could happen? So many people are asking themselves today, could I take off in an airplane in the United States today and have something like this happen?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, you're talking about an environment that humans are running the show, and as great as a creature as we are, we're always susceptible to not forward thinking and also dropping the ball when we become complacent. And unless we're willing to sit, a shooter right at the front door where the cabin is, who's ready to shoot at anybody that comes towards that door, we're always going to be susceptible.
Jonathan Gillam, former FBI special agent, also former air marshal, thank you for commenting on that today.
My pleasure.